uh, Recreation and Parks Commission meeting. And information for the public who are not here, so I think we can forego that. Real quick, we'll just review the Brown Act Government Code 54950. The Brown Act requires that a brief description of each item to be transacted or discussed be posted at least 72 hours prior to a meeting. The Department of Community Services shall post the agenda on town hall windows and on the city's website. So that should have been done. And we'll go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'd like to call on Mo to go ahead and lead the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Nishihara, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Youth Commissioner Leah Zimmerman.
Here.
Commissioner Potter. Here. Commissioner Spencer is absent. Commissioner Wendell.
Here.
Vice Chair Lujan.
Here.
Chairperson Andre Pitchley.
Here.
Great. We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so the adoption of the agenda. Has everybody had a moment to review the agenda? Are there any clarifying questions, or do I have a motion to adopt?
I'll second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. The agenda is adopted. All right, public comment. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the Recreation Commission on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The Commission Chair reserves the right to limit the speaker's time to 3 minutes. You are not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. As we have no members of the public present, we'll move on to 4.1, oral communication. Anything from any of the commissioners where you need to communicate something to us? No? Okay. Have we received any written communication, 4.2?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll move on to 5. We'll go to 5.1, approve Recreation and Parks Commission meeting minutes, January 20th, 2026. And assuming that everybody still needs to do a quick review, we'll just take a minute to do that. All right, if you've had a chance to review the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
All right, do I have a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 5.2, Goldbug Park and mine fees. Mr. Nishihara.
Thank you, Chairperson Andre. We're going to actually come back and revisit this. Staff was not prepared to be able to bring all of the data forward, but I do want to review a couple of things in regards to where we are with Goldbug, Park and Mine, and just kind of do a receive and file at this point. We're currently in the process of working on the expansion for the blacksmith shop. I know staff have been very passionate about this. We've got approval from the El Dorado Community Foundation to move forward. There's been a little bit of some challenges in regards to grading, so we had to pivot around how much dirt we're actually going to move. But we really are focused on expanding that awning for outdoor seating. That was really kind of part of something that had started during the COVID piece as they started to expand with the second forge. and we've been utilizing 10 by 10 easy up pop-ups. And so it's aesthetically not the best. And so Carter, our blacksmith, our lead blacksmith up there, has been kind of looking at some other options, a little more cost-effective stuff, to be able to put in a pergola and something that's really nice. And we've also talked a little bit about ADA parking. The guy's been working with staff as well as our maintenance crew, Todd, and our engineer. So once we get some of those things finalized and we start to move forward on that, we definitely want to take a look at some of the fees when we come back. But at the same time, I do want to share that we've been very, very successful. And not only have we been successful with the programming there, but our attendance has been stabilized and done very, very well. So kudos to everybody who's working out there and all of our staff that support those pieces. I'm available for questions if you have any in regards to that. But this is, again, just a receive and file.
I do. What are the dates that dates come out for build? Any
Dates have
dates?
not come out for build.
They have not.
No.
Are you planning this year, though?
Yeah, absolutely. Like calendar year.
Okay. And you're not building, you're just building an awning? You're not actually extending it towards the parking lot at all?
No, I think that's a good point to bring up, because some of it has to do with how much of the hill and slope that we can really move, right? We may not have enough space for a nice slope, and then there's a existing mine that's there. And so could we potentially shift it to the other side? I think some of those conversations are still kind of evolving. Unfortunately, it feels like it's been taking a long time, but the reason it's taking so long is because we really want to make sure that we get it right. We want to kind of avoid some of the past practices of, hey, hold my soda while I go and put this wall up, right? We want to follow succinctly a process. So that's kind of where we're at. Good question. Once the dates come out, to your point, I'll make sure that everybody knows.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Dennis. We'll move on to item 5.3, aquatic fees.
Just a quick correction in regards to the Mr. Lishman. He's unavailable to be at our meeting this evening, but he's done a good job and made some progress in regards to working on our fees for this year. But before I jump in to talking about aquatics fees, I do want the public to know, as well as our commission and our staff, our goal is not just to keep the pool open this summer. We're definitely going to try to work with some partners to get some extra funding. We are, big highlight, we're able to fix the pump for our kiddie pool. So some of the construction, some of that implementation is going to start this week, Monday and Tuesday. We went ahead and solidified it. I'm going to tell a bad joke, but I think it's going to be kind of funny. We are still kind of looking for a little bit of a leak. So our chief of police has volunteered, because he is certified, to help us go ahead and find that. I kind of want to do a little bit of a chief dive party. So be on the lookout for that, because I think it'll be fun. It not only highlights the fact that we partner amazingly with our departments, but we're trying to be innovative and progressive in regards to how we're finding the most cost-effective way to fix stuff. So if I can actually get pool grates at the same time he's underwater, then he can get a 2-for-1, right? That'd be great. So that's just some of the fun stuff. But I wanted to let you know that, because we are planning to keep the pool open this summer. We also are planning to be able to offer a little extra with the little that we have, right? So if you could entertain me for a little bit while I walk you through some of the dates on my presentation ahead. We have a lifeguard training class on March 30th through April 3rd. This class has presented you guys with flyers. This has also been presented on our social media page. There's a QR code for young people or new staff or candidates who want to be able to join this class. This class is a great opportunity for you to not only be trained in lifeguard and Title 22, but it also gives you an opportunity to interview, to be able to work with our city. It is $230, but one of the great things is, if you are hired with the city, we'll reimburse you back that $230. So it's a pretty amazing thing that the city does, and we want to continue to uphold that. Regular season is set to open on Saturday, May 30th, with our regular season closing on August 7th, and our extended season starting that Saturday, right? Because that's when the kids all go back to school. We kind of know the difference between the regular season and the extended season. And then our extended season will conclude on Monday, September 7th. I'll go into some of the other more creative ideas that we have when I do the department director's report, but this will focus primarily on aquatics right now. And the holidays we are scheduled to be open is July 4th and Labor Day. very status quo, very traditional to what our operating hours have been. Questions about our dates? No? Total operation days that we're scheduled for tentatively right now, and obviously this is subject to change based on where we are with our budget. There will be 10 days in May, 31 days in June and July, 16 days in August, and 8 days in September. So pretty much a total of around 96 days. We actually used to do 9 weeks of swim lessons. We're going to try to stretch it into the 10th week for swimming lessons, right? And that really has to do with utilization and capacity. So typically when you're planning a class, for those of you who kind of do classes and programs, is your ratios. We want to really, really stick to our ratios, whether it's 1-4 or 1-5 or 1-6. We want to stay away from the 1-to-1s. And unfortunately, that may have been kind of an easy practice in the past, but the capacity piece is ideal because we want to maximize our utilization rate for what is available at that pool. So a couple of program types that I'm going to talk about right now is obviously our lap swim, which has been very, very popular, and thank you to the Marshall constituents for helping to support that component financially. We're going to have morning lessons, and the activity pool will be open as usual. Public swim, evening lessons, and rentals like normal. But this year we're hoping to bring back evening swim, at least on Fridays, and an additional evening lap swim. Now, for private lessons, that's kind of like a bonus. I mean, the cost percentage-wise in regards to one individual, those are definitely going to be available. But if we can maximize the public swim and the lap swim and the swimming lessons, I think that's where we're going to basically be seeing a lot of traction forward. This is going to seem really confusing, but I want to kind of understand how many people that we can fit in the pool. So your daily capacity, like you could fit inside of that pool to be able to swim with all of the lifeguards, it's around 264 kids. Yeah, they'll probably be bobbing up and down like little pins, but really at that point, you're still gonna need, 2 at the slide, a couple in the, how they space themselves out. I can't go into detail too much because I don't want to spend too much time on it, but that's what our capacity. Based on our numbers from the year prior, we were probably right around 46. So you could kind of see when extended day was there, you kind of get up to like the 60s and certain things like that. And then other days when we didn't have that added one. So that's an average, right, of around 46. Sometimes you get 12 kids in the afternoon, in the morning time, and it just really depends. Does that make sense? One part that I really, really want to harp on is the fact that if we were able to really press how much we're going to be open, and I don't want to say this because last year was a little contentious. People were worried that we weren't going to be open. People were uncertain. We're limited in our marketing, limited in our pushing, limited in the activities that we're able to do. And I want to be able to take that 46 and I want to increase that, right? And then finding the right percentage of increase. So if I look at what the overall capacity was, around 16%, and that utilization rate, kind of like where are we at? We're really only utilizing around maybe 16%. It's about 84% unused, meaning we could fit there more parties, more programs, more classes, more aerobics. That's kind of what I really want to focus on. Yes, prices have gone up. Yes, minimum wage has increased. However, I think if we can increase our capacity, it may be able to help us offset some of those added expenses. NACMA did a study and a survey of over 20 agencies, and we fall right in line cost-wise and service-wise with what they're doing. And this is from Roseville to Cameron Park, Folsom, and if you take a look, they basically said in some of their surveys, only 6 of them said that their fees are expected to stay the same out of over 20 surveyed, right? About 6 of them said that they're expected to change, and only a few of them were ready for 2025. So everybody's kind of in this same boat. And I don't want to speak for everyone who's in the aquatics field, but aquatics is very difficult and aquatics is very expensive, right? So we're all kind of facing the same thing. Based on what they were saying in aqua size, we kind of fall in line with that. We do have a deep water, but as you could tell, that the shallow offering is a little more popular amongst all of the agencies that are able to provide more services. And this is where we were in comparison to the average. I left this year blank because I want to be clear on how much money we're going to need to be able to make up the difference of the number I give you. So if you look at the group lesson average at the top, residents are $75.54, non-residents are $82.15, and last year we were charging $39, okay? I'll skip to the bottom because I'll touch on these as we go through the next slides. One comparison where you can kind of look at the very second line to the last at the very bottom. The average resident lifeguard class is $182, non-resident is $190, and we're charging the $230. And that $230 they're getting back, right? If you look at where we are with some of the rec swim and the lap swim, on average, it's basically resident at $6.21, non-resident at $6.66, and we're right at $7. Rec swim from 3 to basically 17, they're right around $4, a little over $4 at the entrance gate. We are $4 for 1 to 3, under 1 is free. $6 for 4 years old to 54 years old, and $4 for 55 and up. This is what we were charging last year. This is basically what our market prices were last year. In comparison, if you look at where we are in the median, rec swim for adults, $5.44. For the senior discount, $4 isn't bad, if you think about it in comparison, right? I want to talk a little bit around the group lessons for the average resident and non-resident rate because it does look detrimentally different in regards to the $39 and the $89 in average, okay? I know this sounds confusing, but we'll walk through it. Starting at the very top, and it might be kind of hard to read, I'll see if I can blow it up. Two weeks of class at 8 sessions for 30 minutes. That's where they're getting their $80. Does that make sense? And that's what most of them average. If you look at the bottom line where it says Monday through Thursday for 25 minutes for 2 weeks, that's what we're doing. We're only doing 1 week. We do 4 lessons, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for 25 minutes for $39. Other individuals are doing 8 sessions for 30 minutes for 2 weeks, and they're charging that $80 rate. So if you kind of take a look at what the average is, it's probably right around $40 a week in lessons. Our sessions for beginning swimmers at 20 minutes in the pool, that's pretty good. And the 5 minutes transition, 2.5 minutes in the pool, 2.5 minutes out of the pool, that's a pretty decent deal. Most of the averages that you've seen at around $89, they offer those 8 lessons for 30 minutes. We're offering 4 lessons for 25 minutes. Does that make sense in regards to where the price difference is in regards to the $80 versus the $40? And it varies. I mean, there are some that do 8 lessons for 25 minutes for 2 weeks. It varies throughout where they're at. Some of the other facilities, as most people may know, are maybe a little more extensive than ours as well. They've either got a beach entrance or they've got added extras where they can add in that extra time for 4 weeks long. Our pool, as versatile as it is a little smaller, right? So we want to turn it out and we want to make sure that we get the biggest capacity that we can. Any questions around the differentiation in the pricing for the median resident or non-resident based on the $39 and how we're getting that price? No? With no questions, I'll continue. At the end of the day, the one thing I really want us to focus on, and I'm okay with where we're at because I want to make sure that we're compensating for offsetting the cost of our expenses. If you notice in your staff report that I had presented to you, there is a table of what our expenses are. And I want to go through that really quickly with you guys. And it is on page... Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Page 5 of the staff report. And I'll leave it on the screen if if people are interested in following. Any questions? Are we all on page 5? Sorry for taking so much time with this. I just want to be very detailed. Starting at the top with the program type, you can take a look at where our fiscal year actuals were for 23 and 24, where fiscal actuals were from 24 and 25. So if you look at drop-in swim in 23 and 24, we're at about 5,400. Are we following? And then last year, we estimate around 4,905, which is a differential of about 10%. So conservatively speaking, we increased what we did from last year by 4%. Cost of living is around 3%. Any margin of error is anywhere from 3 to 5%. I feel that it's respectable for us to anticipate around 5,100 for drop-in swim, if that makes any sense where I'm at. And that's what that column calls out. The column of differentiation between 2024 and 2025 is the plus or minus difference in regards to our attendance for that program. Fair? Yes. I'll jump way to the bottom so we can see that red line there. Basically, our use total right there for fiscal year 23-24 is around 72.13. In 24 and 25, it was 74.33. I'm hoping for a 6% at 78.55. Now, the cost difference in the table below is the price difference between 2024 fiscal year, 2025, and 2025 and 2026 fiscal year. Realizing that we're also going into a new fiscal year in July, so there is some offsetting of cost between those calendar dates. Swim lessons, lap swim, activity pool, rec swim, rentals, training for staff, water exercise, a total difference of $17,788. So that's how much more we're paying this year for that type of service that we're talking about, right? Adding in the lap swims, adding in the special events that I'll talk to you about a little bit later, adding in capacity, focusing on making sure our ratios are correct, that we don't have 17 guards on the deck and only 4 people in the pool. Not that we've ever seen that, right? But at the same time, maximizing our ratios, maximizing our capacities, making sure that we push as many people as we can to be able to get them in the water. Do we, and my question for the commission tonight is, do we increase our prices at the risk of decreasing our attendance? Or do we stay strong knowing where the market is? Because I think other people are charging the exact same thing and push for a better attendance. With gasoline being $6.09 at Chevron, I don't know how many people are going to go out of town this year. I hope they stay in town, and I hope they take 10 weeks of swimming. I hope they stay in town and they go to every family movie night. But I want the price to be responsible, and I want the price to be acceptable for families. Average family size is 2.5 children in any rural area. The reality is, if we're able to and we can't keep the pool open, I could absolutely go back and increase all of our rates to offset the cost of the $18,000. And I think that would be smart for us to do, and I can. We open up registration a little bit late, and people can start registering in May. We could definitely do those pieces. But at the end of the day, when I make my presentation to City Council, I want to make sure that I've really thought this through all the way, and that's why I'm presenting it to you in the way that I am. Do we go up in price and try to expand and push as much capacity as we can? Or do we stay status quo, hope we have the right price point as a business, and try to increase our attendance? With that, I'm available for questions you have. Am I wrong in some cases? I could be, and that's why I throw it to the group for us to discuss. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dennis. Any questions for the director? So your ask is the commission willing to support keeping the fees the same this year as they were last year? Is it as simple as that?
I'm sorry if it sounds that simple. My question is, am I looking at this wrong? And do we need to go up in fees? Because if we need to go up in fees, tell me.
Okay.
If we need to make that money up, then we need to do it, and we need to take it out, and we need to do the 60-day notice, and we need to increase fees. I think that would be fiscally responsible. I'm going to make a presentation to City Council. We'll see what they say. I'm almost positive that we're gonna be running into the red already because we are very short in our general fund. My gut, and I'm putting a lot on this, my gut tells me if we keep the right price point, we can get more people in the pool. That's where I'm at. But I might be wrong. That's why I'm asking you guys. Am I
So-
wrong?
There's a lot of numbers here, and I just would like you to clarify for us then, if you would, how much, where did we end the year on revenue for aquatics in 2025?
Great question. Give me a second. We have multiple accounts, so just let me do the math really quick. That's a lie. Let the computer do the math.
Well, while you're looking for that, here's my thought on the,
You ready?
oh, you ready? Okay, good.
Approximately 185,893. 185,893.
Is how much we brought in, and then how far off of the target was that? Did we exceed revenue projections, or did
How
we
much
come
did
in
we
and-
subsidize the pool by?
There you
The
go.
other 2/3. Total cost of the pool is around 675. So if I did round numbers, right around
All right.
190, and it was 6-ish. So we're in the red. We're already upside down.
As long as I've been on, I've always been told it's operated in.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was saying for as long as I've been on the commission, I've always had the understanding that it's operated in the red by a significant number. Yeah, which is
correct.
why we had the county helping subsidize some, and that's also decreased. The last update I recall was that numbers decreased by quite a bit, so still operating in the red.
Any word from the county this year?
Most likely, I would estimate that they're struggling as well with their.
They're struggling, so the expectation is a no that we're on subsidizing it.
That's the presumption, but
Yeah.
I'm still going to ask.
Okay.
I'm sure they want to be partners if
Sure.
they could be.
Sure.
You know, 7 out of 10 of our participants are outside of our city walls.
All right, so for the commission, how does everybody feel about not raising the fees and running essentially a structural deficit on pool operations, aquatic operations? I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I do know how I feel about that, which is unless we know council's going to subsidize the balance, it doesn't feel good to me.
I don't think they can. I think we're already struggling as it is.
Have we thought about raising it a quarter?
Yeah, we
If you
can.
do 25 cents, you're making a lot more dollars
I
coming
mean,
in.
of the $17,600 approximately, that's the offset of the 3% for minimum wage. And we could definitely do that. That's a standard. We do that every time year over year. What we haven't done, and I don't mean this in any disrespect, what we haven't done is we haven't pushed capacity. We haven't maximized our marketing, and we haven't ensured that all of our classes are full, that our night swim is full, that we're doing activities.
Okay.
In all fairness, and I mean, staff have been great. They're super passionate. I love everybody I work with, and it's been awesome. But in all fairness, we need to do more at that pool. And I think the more we do at that pool, and the more people we get in that pool, the more money we're going to make.
There's got to be a story behind it, right?
Well, Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
For me, I think it also is looking at, for one, I'm probably in line with I keep pronouncing your last name. Andre, okay, Andre. I agree with Andre. Personally, I'm not inclined to skip an increase. I think an increase is necessary, and that's just the reality of what the world is, and everything's going up. I know that that's disheartening for families, but at the same time, that's still very, very affordable entertainment. I've seen people who've struggled find ways to make it to Disneyland. So I feel like there's, a small increase to help offset wage increases is necessary. But if you're looking to push more interest in going to the pool, I would think that in lieu of trying to not raise the prices, I think there's other things that could be done. Like I've gone to the pool in the past, and one of the reasons I don't go as often, and last year I didn't go at all, was because of the rules. For me, bringing my daughter and some of her friends, it seemed like every 2 minutes the whistles are getting blown on the kids. So it kind of takes away from the experience. It's hard to feel like you can be a kid there sometimes versus just let's find a friend and go to their house and we can be kids and splash and be a little more playful in a bigger way than sometimes at the city pool. We get the whistle blown a lot. And so I think that there's opportunities to find ways to bring families in, but maybe it's something more simple, like maybe we could have a splash and play hour or 30 minutes where all the kids can be in the pool and be splashing around, maybe have goggles required, things that would make it easier for them to get their energy out, or parents like myself that want to bring their kids there to get their energy out, and maybe making some little shifts that makes it easier to do that in a safe way. So that would be my
That's
recommendation, is
another-
actually looking at
Yeah.
some opportunities for broader engagement in a more fun way that feels a little less rule-oriented and whistleblowing every 10 seconds. That's my thoughts and feedback for that. I know I would be more inclined to go if I didn't feel like that was going to be an issue the entire time we were there. So that's my thought on that.
I have a thought, if I may. If I could bring a retail marketing perspective to it, which is kind of in line with what you're saying, and not to take my cards from my vest and show what I do with my retail situation. But sometimes, especially when things are getting expensive in this world, killing them with kindness and affordability, and maybe asking for marketing support, as you guys are, from various people throughout town, locking them in at a lower price or the same price to get more people, and then reconsider raising the price the following year. So you get more people, you get more flies with honey, if you will. You charge $1 for this particular item, and everybody gets hooked to that item, and then you charge $2 for it later.
Yeah, I think the passes would be a good idea to be able to do something like that with too, because we need to increase the pass fees as well. And then, again, very, very poignant piece. Do we go up? That was the question, right? Do we lock them in early? Do we try to get the price point where we're at right now? I definitely know we need to increase our fees. I also know someone needs to ask the question, why and are we gonna? Because if I don't ask both sides of that coin, when I make my presentation next Tuesday, or when I make it to city council, people are gonna ask, hey, did you have this conversation? And I want to genuinely say, yeah, I had this conversation. Because in my mind, it could go either way. I know what needs to be done, but I also know what people want for it to be done. And that's unfortunately why I'm asking you guys. What do you guys think?
Well, to be clear, mine was not to raise the price. That was my point. Okay.
I get it.
My motion would be to increase the price, but look at alternative ways to bring people in and maybe make more creative hours for playtime with the public. That's my recommendation. So I don't know if we need two different motions that need to be voted on, or.
I think we're being asked to do one. Okay, so here's where I'm struggling. You said about $185,000. Is that correct?
Yeah.
because that's about 2/3 of the 281,344. I'm not even sure how we would divide that up to say this is what it would cost per. I mean, there's a lot of math involved in.
We would never
The
recoup
various
We
fees
would never
for that.
recoup the full cost, because I mean, at that point, and I did the math one time. I mean, at that point, we'd be like, might as well charge lifetime fees.
Right,
You
right.
know, I mean, they're charging $100 a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, aquatics is a service we provide that is essential. And I think the city wants to be as advantageous as possible to make back the increase we know is happening. That 2.84%, that 17,000, let's grab that up, because we know that's what needs to happen. I'm asking you, are you sure that's what you want to happen?
It has to go up. I mean, it's just business. You increase it, but there's a story behind it. You can increase it, and the first, whatever, if you buy by this date, you get 10% off or 20% off. You're still going to make more money by increasing it, even if you get that 10 or 20% off to make it down to what it was today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a story behind it. And as far as marketing goes, I like Tony's idea from a marketing perspective. Kill them with kindness. If they know the story and what it costs to run it, I don't think a lot of people do. And you're running a deficit. Eventually, it's going to go away if we don't raise the prices.
Yeah.
And we're not asking to raise the price. Another question: how much do you raise it? That
Yeah, that's number one on mine is
It
how
is.
much, why, and to what end? I mean, if it's,
how much?
2.84% to offset the cost from $16.50 to $16.90. That's how I got the 17,000.
just to cover minimum wage.
To cover minimum wage increase. That's all we're asking. It has to, if we want to at least stay in trend with what we've been doing, we've got to be able to cover the cost for minimum wage.
And then all of the other expenses come from
General fund.
just operating that pool.
Yep. And we'll ask the county again this year. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Okay, so I think that makes it easier for me, it makes it easier to understand. Okay, so here's the other two things. The second item I have of my little short list, which includes your first question about how much, is what message are we sending to council if we say we just want to keep them the same even though minimum wage has gone up or wages have gone up? Because it doesn't feel very mindful of what is essentially the reliance on the general fund for covering wages. We're just making the assumption that by saying we don't want to increase fees, well, council will cover it. And I would, if I'm council, I'm not like, really? I mean, that's a little presumptuous. The third thing is, then could council then articulate their commitment to covering pool operations, the operating of the facility itself? Then it would be easier for us to say, this is how much we should charge just to cover staffing costs. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think they even considered not opening it. I think it was last year because
did.
the cost was so high. So they
correct.
actually considered not even having it open
correct.
last season.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, it ultimately is their decision. So I'm at where I was before. My recommendation is yes, have an increase, minimum wage is going up.
My point is, it would be nice if council would say to us, or say to you, we're covering the cost of pool management, of, the chemicals, the electricity, the water bill, all of that. And I don't know that you get that from them, but it's an ask.
Yeah. I think council has proven over the years,
Yeah.
over the 20 years I know since the renovation, I think the city has proven that they're committed to keep the pool open to the best of their ability. I think the city has proven that they're not only committed to keep the pool open to the best of their ability, but to at least cover those staffing costs to the best that they can.
And I guess what I'm asking for is fiscal policy. The city will, it is their policy to cover the expenses of pool operations, of, all of the stuff that goes into keeping that thing going year round. That's what I would like to see, and would ask that maybe you have that conversation either with the city manager or the finance director to see if that's even something they'd be comfortable floating. But the ask right now is, are we interested in raising fees or keeping them as is?
Yeah, that's the ask right now.
Yeah.
And to your point, I think that the reason that we've done this year over year, this is not a new staff report. This is not a new step that we've taken. We've always, every single program that comes up, NFL youth flag football, youth basketball, we always take a look at the minimum wage. We always do our best to be able to do that. And I'm doing it this year. This is my second summer. I came in 24 when it was in August, and I kind of seen the operations. I experienced it through 25. And now as I go into 26, I'm trying to wrap my brain around, okay, if this is an essential service, and our standard has always been to offset minimum wage, are we looking at it from the business perspective, or are we looking at it from the direct cost perspective? And then for me, to your point around policy, I think we need to get there eventually. This is just my first shot at aquatics.
Sure. Okay.
Right? So then we can kind of take a look at, we don't subsidize the trail. I mean, we subsidize I said that reverse. We subsidize the trail 100%. Don't charge everybody $1 if
Right.
you want to take a hike on the trail. That's 100%. I'm not charging you 25 cents if you want to play on a playground. But as more specialized as you get, like swimming lessons, like softball, what is the percentage of subsidy are we going to be able to implement? And I don't think we're ready for that conversation yet because
Okay.
we are running there. But to your point, I think it's an important conversation that we need to have and I need to put on the map.
Okay, fair enough. So,
I have one last question, Andre, if I may.
Yeah.
Has the 11% proposal for water increase gone into these numbers?
I'll speculate no at this point, but I'd have to check.
Okay.
okay, so we are an advisory commission, so I don't know that we necessarily need to make a motion that ties your hands to something, but I think you could definitely ask for our consensus.
And
that might be a better way for you to-
Based on an action, because of the Roberts, we should take an action based
You
on,
want an action? Okay.
yeah.
So I need a motion.
To be clear, what you're asking is the 2.8% for a agreement
An
on
increase
that.
to offset the cost for minimum wage.
Not higher, not going higher than that.
Ideally, I do not want to go higher.
Oh, okay. So I misunderstood some of the conversation. I thought we were also exploring maybe raising it even higher than that.
I mean, I think we should know that number.
Right.
So what we'll do is, because I realize some may not want to see the fee raised at all, so I'll ask for a motion. If I don't get a second, then we'll go to a second motion. So is there a motion to raise the fees?
I motion yes.
Okay, and can you put that in the form of a motion, raising it?
Oh, is it
To offset the cost for minimum wage.
offset the cost? Yes.
Of minimum, okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
second.
Oh, we'll both.
Okay.
Either way. Yeah.
We've got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Seeing no nays, the motion passes. So you have your marching
Thank you
orders.
very much. Appreciate that. And I realized that it was a hard question for me to ask, but I had to, right?
Yeah, and just so you folks understand where I'm coming from, I'm used to, when I worked for the city of West Sacramento, fiscal policy was very clear, and we knew, for instance, that all youth sports were subsidized 50%, no matter what. And it made it very easy for us to budget for things. Here, it just feels like what I worry about is that you're going to spend money on a program and then find that the money's not there. And then what do you have to do? And it could result in you have to cancel something else, or you have to let staff go. And I don't think anybody wants any of that to happen. I mean, that would be the worst case scenario, but that would be my concern. So, all right, let's go ahead.
Before we close out, I
Yeah.
one more comment on that. And I do think we should definitely explore, similar to how with tree lighting and whatnot, we subsidize it with sponsorships. That's a great idea. I know you're working on that right now too, and that could definitely help a lot, bring in some extra revenue and make it also easier for
I've spoken
customers.
with Dave on some of those policies, and not to interrupt, Tony, I apologize. But I think everybody's in the knowledge that we need to do it a little bit different because our general fund does need some of that support. We don't want to do it based on pure taxation, because that's what we want to do. We just need to increase prices just because. I think, and I say this nicely, but when we talk about this next agenda item, people need to know that we don't have hidden fees.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, let's move on to item 5.4, banner over Maine, policy and price review.
This is just a recap from our banner over Maine. I jokingly tell people that you don't really know it's there until it's not there. At our last city council meeting, as part of resolution 9504, the new fee as of May 11th, 2026 will be $388. That is 100% cost recovery in regards to staffing and installation. So to your point earlier around what we're talking about with policy, that's kind of where we were, because that is an added bonus, right, of service that we provide. With that said, there are no major or significant changes to the policy itself, but I do want to remind individuals that it is for nonprofit organizations only. Proof of tax identification number and verification must be submitted for events and advertising. There shall be no religious or political advertisements and are strictly prohibited, and all events must be held exclusively within the city of Placerville city limits. I did bring this back. We are notifying those individuals. We average anywhere between 30 to 35 users throughout the annual year. But one of the other main reasons I put it on tonight's agenda to recap the $388 increase is that we may have bent some of the gray areas in regards to whether or not a event is inside or outside the city limits. We may have bent on whether it is a religious event versus a religious activity. So I do want to just let everybody know that we are standardizing what the policy is. We'll send notifications out to all our current users. And if they have any questions, please feel free to contact our office between Mondays and Thursdays. Any questions?
Any questions? No? No questions? Okay. Item 5.5, department update. Dennis?
All right. I'm not gonna embarrass Monique because she's sitting behind me. She's on camera. Say hi, Monique. She is amazing at our recreation guide, and this is just a teaser. So I just want to kind of let you guys know we are doing prints this year, and we'll have it up on Rec Guide. But she's also waiting for a lot of deadlines that Dennis hasn't met. So if you hear some kicking underneath the table, it's probably her, right? So a couple of really, really fun things that I want to recap. We are definitely going to try to fit in evening lap swim. I think that's going to be a huge add-on for a lot of our constituents. I actually called a couple of our users randomly out of the blue, and they answered their phone, and I asked them, hey, what do you think about this? Would this be popular, and kind of where we are with that? Our swimming lessons will stay status quo, but we also definitely want to push through what we're calling, and I don't want to steal this because Guy was laughing at me today, and I really like it, a pool party, meaning a party at the pool for pets or for your dog. And this will be at the end of the season. A lot of agencies do it, but it's basically a doggy day at the pool as we end out the season. And then as we enter into fall, I keep pushing my staff to try to get it into the summer one because I really want to do a polar bear plunge. But they're like, wait for the fall, Dennis, wait for the winter. So that was a very, very exciting one. And then a couple of the big ones, there is going to be an Easter egg hunt at Goldbug that Guy and his staff are working on, and Monique put together this amazing flyer at the end. We have a summer movie series coming up, and that it doubled. I'll say that. Our movies doubled from last year to this year. So we will repeat the movie in the park at City Park downtown, Benham, for Finding Dory, and we will be showing Goonies at Goldbug. It's very, very exciting, very, very fun. I could pass this around for you guys, but you can't really look at it too much because it's not finalized yet. But those are just some of the really, really fun and exciting things. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some pickleball going this summer. Guy and a few of the staff are really kind of pushing to be able to put through some of those things. I don't know if you also had a chance to take a look at Lions Park recently, but if you have, please just take a moment to drive up there. Thank you to Gordon Vicini and Mag Landscaping and Miguel for all of their hard work and effort. We were able to get them out there last week, was it? And then this week to be able to level out the fields with a laser. I also took a tour with Nick, who's our Public Works Director, to kind of take a look at some of the drainage and what we can do to make either free up some parking spaces. But we are moving dirt at Lions Park, and it is looking amazing, and I'm so proud of our team. So if you haven't had a chance to get out there, please do. With that, I'm available for questions if you have any.
When's softball start?
May 1st.
So there's time. That grass should be ready to go by the time they're
Oh, yeah.
ready to play.
Oh, yeah. Pennants. We have maybe bring out the mayor for the first pitch, put some music out there,
Nice.
get the flags on the fencing. We'll do it up.
Okay.
It's happening. It's going to be a fun summer.
When does that go to print?
That's top secret, Tony.
Okay.
That's,
All right.
and that's only because I might have to push it back a week.
Okay. I have other questions. I'll talk to you after the meeting.
A week from when, though?
Yeah, when was it? April 7th.
Oh, now we know.
Yeah, see. She's amazing. So, yeah,
Okay.
fun stuff.
Love the dog swim. I think it's fantastic, and that'll. Are you going to be charging per human, per pet,
Paw.
per paw? Yeah, per paw.
Just
Just for the dog. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Just a recommendation. I feel like a lot of the times when I'm looking for events to go to for friends, Girl Scouts, all those kinds of things, I often find them on Facebook, and I see a lot of the other cities post their events on Facebook also.
Okay.
So I feel like we would have a lot of success, especially if you're trying to push the pool events more. If we actually put the events up on Facebook, I think that would be a really great addition to marketing for the city. If it's not an outrageous cost, I'm not sure what they charge for.
Boosting your ads.
Posting your ads.
Yeah, doing a boost.
But even if you did an event and didn't post it, El Dorado County chat has like over 40,000 people on it, and all you got to do is get the admin to approve your event. We did that for our Girl Scout cookies this last weekend. The admin approved it, and it was posted that we were selling at Walmart till 4, and so that was free. Like, all somebody did was approve it. So maybe contacting the admin, saying, "Hey, we'd like to post this event. It's, we are going to be charging. It's a for-profit, for the city." But I would be quite surprised if they wouldn't be agreeable to that kind of marketing that has very far-reaching numbers. Well over 40,000. So, just simple things like that if we're trying to expand our marketing.
Thank you.
We do post.
If you haven't already friended us,
Yeah.
invite you to friend us and follow us on all our social platforms.
And can you please tell us what those platforms are?
We have Instagram and Facebook.
Have you
Placerville Recreation and Parks.
And,
Okay.
yeah,
have you
Placerville Recreation and Parks. And we also have Team Sideline where people sign up for all of our rec
Sure.
programs. So Facebook and Instagram.
so people will get an email on? Do we have that, like a list that you can send the digital image or the digital file to everybody?
Like a
who's-
listserv.
Yeah, to everybody that's
Yeah,
a
people can
customer?
call our office and we can get you on listserv. You can go on our website
Okay.
and you can sign up for the newsletters. And
Sure.
we've been sending out newsletters. We haven't been as consistent because,
So they have to request that. It's not something that you can do an opt-out on if they,
ActiveNet is tricky.
okay,
Unless they specifically select to send me the promotional emails, then our system won't
Okay.
send them the promotional email.
yeah. And I know a lot of people around here use Nextdoor. And it's,
I did see next door. I've just
and,
been there.
and up here, it seems to be fairly positive.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that might be another way to get information out. Don't know that you actually need to have an actual profile for the department, so.
No.
Yeah.
We get a lot of feedback on Facebook. People follow us pretty frequently. It's the shares and the boosts. I'm sure, like we did with Halloween, or we do with
Tree lighting. We had
the tree lighting.
100-something thousand.
The best thing and if I'm being completely honest, in my experience, the best thing is for us to just share it and for someone else to share it. They listen to other people better than they listen to us on social media. So if you're out there, subscribe. Like,
All right, any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay, then that leaves us with item 6, was adjournment. May I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing none, we are adjourned. Have to be gentle.